Hello students and welcome to e-coaching. Today from this video we'll start our journey for verbal ability and reading comprehension section. If I talk about management exams, as I have mentioned in my introductory videos as well, these management exams basically comprises of four broad areas. And what are those broad areas? The first we are talking about vocabulary. And when I talk about vocabulary, majority of the students and especially CAT aspirants, they have this question in mind, why vocabulary for us? I'll talk about it in this module and in this particular video as well. The second thing when we talk about is grammar. Again, the same question, why grammar for CAT aspirants? I'll talk about that too. And then we are talking about reading comprehension. Yes, sir, this is what we are expecting, reading comprehension, because if I talk about management examination or CAT exam as such, 60 to 70% of your section, I would say 70% of your section is reading comprehension. That's what I am interested in. And the last is verbal logic. When I talk about verbal logic, in that module, I'll be covering para jumbles, para summary, I'll be talking about fact, inference, judgment. I'll be talking about some of the questions related to critical reasoning. I'll talk about what is an assumption, what is an argument. I'll talk about premise, I'll talk about inference. These are the things which I'll be covering in my last module, that's verbal logic. And by the end of these 4 modules, we will be covering the syllabus as far as these management exams are concerned. So, which means when you are going for these management examination, the type or the kind of the questions that you have already covered with e-coaching. So let's start with module 1, that is vocabulary building. And what I'll be talking about today is introduction. So let's start. And one thing before starting this particular video or the series of video in this particular section, let me advise you that you should follow the videos as or in the sequence in which it is recorded and given to you in your login, right? That's what I want to start with. So the agenda for this particular session is, first of all, we talk about why vocab for us, why vocab for management examination, why when we talk about any, let's say, preparation, when we go to any institute, any online classes, the first thing they start with the vocabulary module, why. Second is types of question or the kind of questions asked in various management examination. So किस तरीके से questions पूछे जाते हैं related to vocabulary. The third is how to build vocabulary. Sir, सबसे बड़ी problem ये है मैं vocabulary build up कैसे करूँ. Guys, just to give you an idea about this. No, I'm not giving you the tips and techniques to build up vocabulary. When I'm saying idea, guys, to be very honest with you, if I want, I can have 70, 80, 100 or for that matter 1000 of lectures on vocabulary. It's a never ending thing. But the idea for taking to you guys through this module of vocabulary building is that you should understand how I need to develop the vocabulary. I'll give you those techniques and later on stages you need to develop this vocabulary because it is a process, not an event. I hope you guys understand the difference between process and event. Event is something which happen only once. एक बार होता है, and process is something which happen over the time. So, for example, learning a language is a process. If I talk about Hindi, if I talk about Gujarati, if I talk about, let's say, Odia, whatever language you speak, it is a process. It was not the thing that आप पैदा होते ही language बोलने लग गए थे. You have learned this over the time. And similarly, the same thing will happen with your English as well. So, vocabulary building is a process. And yes, when we talk about vocabulary building, reading is something which is must. And when I talk about reading, I will go this thing in detail as well. And in many blogs on e-coaching website and on my YouTube channel as well as on Instagram and Telegram groups, I have talked this thing in detail. What kind of books you should read. You should inculcate the reading habits. But even if, let's say, I'm talking about you are reading it for the purpose of cracking CAT, yes, you should, because that's where your vocabulary building will come. And again, that question is still in our mind, sir, why vocabulary? Now, let's continue further. And the last, I'll be talking about questions asked in actual management exams. I'll be taking up the questions from actual management exams as well. So this is what the agenda of today's session is. Let's continue. थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं. Why vocab for management exams? हमें क्यों पढ़ाया जा रहा है vocab? And the first thing on my list here is obviously to solve questions. It's as easy as that to solve questions. Wow, sir, कितना बड़ा पीजे मारा है. Yes, it's a poor joke, but understand, guys, that's the basic. You need to solve question. That is the very basic of your vocabulary building module. अगर आपको क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना है. So when I'm talking about question, sir, CAT के अंदर तो क्वेश्चंस आते ही नहीं है vocabulary के. Let's see. Okay, मैं अगर बोल रहा हूं CAT के अंदर क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते, एक बार CAT को let's keep it aside. Let's keep it aside. CAT के अंदर क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते. But what about SNAP? And I'm sure you must be aware about the verbal section or the kind of question asked in verbal section, because I have covered this in my introductory videos as well. So when I'm talking about, let's say, SNAP as a paper, which is symbiosis verbal section के अंदर roughly if I talk about 35 to 40% of the questions are vocab based. So verbal ability, reading comprehension के अंदर 35 to 40%, और overall if I talk about grammar and vocab put together, left roughly 65 to 70% of your paper is grammar and vocab. And if you are so much confident, then it's a different thing altogether. But yes, as a management graduate or as someone who is looking for top B schools, we will be looking for other options as well. We'll be going for symbiosis as well, and we are not doing this blunder of not giving the exams, because even if you want to go or not, it will definitely give you experience. So 35 to 40% of that paper, verbal section, is vocabulary. Let's talk about Nasi Munji and NMAT. After CAT, when I'm talking about CAT as an examination, roughly, if I talk about CAT 2020, roughly 2.41 lakh students have applied or have filled the form for CAT, and 2.09 lakh students appeared for CAT. After CAT, the second highest number of aspirants is for Nasi Munji, roughly around 1.8 lakh. So if I talk about Nasi Munji, again verbal section, 35 to 40% here, verbal section is your vocabulary based. That's why vocab, right? If I talk about exams like IIFT, if I talk about exams like TISNET, for all these things, vocabulary is much needed. That's basically when I'm talking about to solve questions. Let's go further. ये तो सर हमने सुन लिया to solve questions. Second is reading comprehension. You won't be able to solve reading comprehension if you are weak in this. If you are weak in this, you won't be able to crack reading comprehension, because nowadays when I'm talking about specifically reading comprehension in management exams, it is more or less inference based. And when it is inference based, it is even more important that you should know whether that word is positive or negative. Right? So there was one if I talk about many of the words, for example, the author is talking about a negative thing. And suddenly in reading comprehension, you get the main idea, और वहां पर आप positive options को mark कर देते हैं. And when you come back and say, sir, दो option में confuse हो जाता हूं, and I end up marking the wrong one. Though I will talk about this in my reading comprehension module. So why you make that mistake? Because of this, because vocabulary. And as I said, vocabulary is like oxygen to your reading comprehension. You won't, when you talk in reading comprehension and when you say, sir, my speed is very low. मेरा स्पीड बहुत कम है, मेरी वर्ड पर मिनट जो आप बोलते हो 200-250 आनी चाहिए, वो नहीं आ रही है. Right? I'm not able to, understand what's the main idea all about. I tend to lose focus because we are weak in vocabulary. So it's the must. आपको vocabulary develop करना ही पड़ेगा. There is no other way around it. And to develop your vocabulary, yes, I would always say it should be reading. And when I'm saying reading, मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूंगा. So मैं कई बार स्टूडेंट से क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. Probably ये एग्जांपल आगे भी शायद मेरे वीडियो में आ जाए तो पता नहीं. That if let's say we are talking about on who is Prime Minister of India, and when we say it's our honorable Prime Minister is Narendra Modi, हमें किसी ने याद नहीं कराया है. It's that we have seen him on Telegraph, we have seen him on Twitter, news channel, और let's say in media, और वो हमारे माइंड में चला गया जाके, और जब हमसे पूछा जाता है and we say it's Narendra Modi. Similarly, the words will also go in your subconscious mind. The moment you read, and automatically you will see that you will start seeing those words, right? I'll just give you an example. I was reading some article day before yesterday, and what is that yesterday? You don't know when I'm recording the video. So when I was reading that article, so there was that word called as decree, D-E-C-R-E-E. Decree basically means to give command. Decree basically means to give command, and there are some of the words I assume that, this is a very basic word, that where you can see this on a daily basis. And the moment you pick up any newspaper, and suddenly I have realized that I am seeing that word continuously, because it is now in your subconscious mind, because I have to read this for some purpose, and that's why I'm getting into this. So this is where vocabulary will play a very important role. A very important thing, sir, RC के अंदर 4 ऑप्शन में से 2 एलिमिनेट हो जाते हैं, 2 नहीं हो पाते हैं. So when you talk about elimination of the option, that's where vocabulary play a very, very vital role. And when we are talking about the tone-based questions, as far as Narsi Munji is concerned, so tone-based, when I'm saying Narsi Munji, why? Because सबसे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन tone-based Narsi Munji के अंदर आते हैं. मैंने CAT के अंदर लास्ट 3 साल में एक भी क्वेश्चन नहीं देखा है, और उससे पहले भी if I talk about CAT over the years, last 6-7 years, hardly a question on tone, right? Z के अंदर 1-2 क्वेश्चन आ जाता है, Narsi Munji के अंदर भर भर के आते हैं. When Narsi Munji talk about things like the tone is very, they will not say the tone is very harsh. They will not say the tone is very commanding. They will not say the tone is very, very kind of appreciating someone. They will talk about the tone is panegyric. They will talk about the tone is ebullient. They will talk about caustic. They will talk about all those things. So the tone-based question wherein I have to understand, or I need to know, what is this vocabulary. So these are the 4 broad areas to solve questions, eliminate the options, reading comprehension, and tone-based questions. And for all these 4 areas, I need to develop my vocabulary. Let's move further. थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं. And when I'm talking about the types of questions which are being asked in your competitive examination, the first on the list is one-word substitution. You will be given a line, let's say, the phobia of fire is known as what? Dash, dash, dash. One-word substitution. Someone who creates maps is called as what? Dash, dash, dash. One-word substitution. Someone who takes care of newborn babies is called as what? Dash, dash, dash. One-word substitution. So this is what the kind of questions you can expect in your management exams. The second is synonyms-based questions, right? Synonyms मतलब हम बोलते हैं similar words, or in Hindi we talk about it as समानार्थक शब्द, right? Prayavachi, if I'm not wrong, right? So synonyms are basically the similar words. So for example, if I have to talk about, give me the synonym of the word harsh, what can be the synonyms? Give me the synonyms of the word something which is happy. What are those synonyms? So these are the kind of synonyms, those very easy, but I'm just giving you an example. Then I'm talking about antonyms, opposite of words. For example, someone is saying, give me the opposite of the word pacify. Give me opposite of the word which is sanguine. I don't know probably what do you mean by the word pacify, or what do you mean by the word sanguine, or let's say opposite of the word reverential. I even don't know the meaning of this word reverential. If I don't know the meaning of these words, I will not be able to answer. Right? So again, I'm just giving you the glimpse. I'm just giving you the glimpse that why this, and I'm giving you the glimpse for this. The next is verbal analogy. Analogy basically the relation, verbal relation. So how the words are placed here. So dash dash ये यहाँ पर 2 relation दिया होगा और उसका similar relation आपको यहाँ पर बनाना है. जैसे कि मैं अभी इसके अंदर आएंगे, I'll talk about all those things. So this is verbal analogy based questions. Fill in the blanks, again vocabulary based questions, right? Then I'm talking about odd word out, right? So you have to talk about the odd word which is not from that particular series of words. Idioms and phrases. So these are all the things which you need to understand or these are all the types of questions which you can expect in management examination. So typically, or I would say broadly, these are the 7 kind of 7 kind of questions or 7 types of questions which you can expect in management examination. Let's move further. Let's start with first kind of a question, which is one word substitution. And when I talk about vocab, halaki in the second class or third class, I'll be talking about the techniques to, learn words. I will talk about all the techniques in my classes to come. In the next 7 classes, I'll be probably covering close to around 800 words. Yes, close to around 800 words in vocabulary module I'll be covering as of now, and how to remember these words. That is the logic rather than teaching those words, because words तो आप डिक्शनरी उठा के भी देख लेंगे और ये वर्ड्स किस तरीके से याद करने हैं उसके ऊपर हम लोग बात करेंगे. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट वन वर्ड सब्स्टिट्यूशन. सो when I'm talking about one word substitution, आपको क्वेश्चन कुछ इस तरीके से दिया होगा. The study of ancient societies is called as what? The study of ancient society is called as what? The study of ancient society is called as archaeology. The study of ancient society is called as archaeology. सर अब क्या करें? अच्छी बात है आपने बता दिया. अच्छा ये एक्चुअली क्वेश्चंस आए हुए हैं. हाँ, मैं ऐसे अपने आप से नहीं ले रहा, ये वर्ड्स आए हैं. मैं इसको याद कैसे करूंगा? मैं हमेशा बोलता हूं जब वर्ड्स को याद करना है, और मेरे मॉड्यूल के अंदर अगर आप देखेंगे वोकैबुलरी मॉड्यूल के अंदर वी विल टॉक अबाउट इन द वीडियोस टू कम रूट वर्ड टेक्निक, पिक्चर वर्ड मैंने बात करी है, मैंने बॉडी वोकैब के ऊपर बात किया है, मैंने लिंकिंग वर्ड टेक्निक के ऊपर बात किया है, और मैं वो 800 वर्ड्स कैसे याद करने हैं, और मैं बता रहा हूं मैं जिस तरीके से वर्ड्स को पढ़ाऊंगा आप कभी भी नहीं भूलोगे, राइट? सो व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, बिकॉज़ टुडे आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन इंट्रोडक्शन, सो द स्टडी ऑफ एंशिएंट सोसाइटी इज कॉल्ड एज आर्कियोलॉजी. मैं याद कैसे करूं? मैं याद करूंगा कुछ इस तरीके से. मैं इस पिक्चर को मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा रखूंगा और मैं कुछ इस तरीके से इसको याद रखता हूं, बिकॉज ये पिक्चर अब मेरे दिमाग में जा चुकी है, राइट? जैसे मुझे ऐसा कुछ बंदा करता हुआ दिखता है, मुझे लगता है हाँ ही इज स्टडीइंग समथिंग. और मैंने स्टूडेंट्स को कैसे पढ़ाया था? बाय स्टडी, क्योंकि मेरे को भी स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाना है. मैं लास्ट 8 साल से कैट एस्पिरेंट्स को पढ़ा रहा हूं, मैनेजमेंट एस्पिरेंट्स को पढ़ा रहा हूं, स्टूडेंट्स हु गो फॉर IIM इंदौर रोहतक फॉर अ यूजी प्रोग्राम. आई टॉक अबाउट आई दिस इज हाउ आई टीच एंड दिस इज व्हाई हाउ you should develop your vocabulary. And now the question comes, sir कैसी बातें कर रहे हो? आपने तो पीपीटी पे चला दिया है, हमें तो लिखना है. यस आपको लिखना है, पर आप भी स्टोरी इसके रिलेटेड बना सकते हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ये मैं मेरी क्लासेस के अंदर बात करूंगा. तो स्टडी ऑफ एंशिएंट सोसाइटी इज कॉल्ड एज आर्कियोलॉजी. These are the questions which have already appeared in the or already came in your management examination. So मैं वही क्वेश्चंस कुछ यहाँ ले रहा हूं, और मेरा आज इस सेशन को पढ़ाने का उद्देश्य ये है कि आपको समझ में आए कि हम वोकैबुलरी पढ़ते क्यों है. बिकॉज आई हैव सीन मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट वोकैबुलरी के अंदर नहीं पढ़ना हमारे को. अच्छा एक और चीज आपको बताता हूं इंटरेस्टिंग. यहां तक तो मैंने बात करी थी रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, एलिमिनेटिंग द ऑप्शंस, और फॉर दैट मैटर टोन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस, और ये क्वेश्चन भी आते हैं. बट मुझे एक बात बताओ, once you get a call from CAT, once you get a call from IIM, stop these schools after CAT, after that they have their process called as WAT, which is written ability test, and in case of IIM Ahmedabad it's AWT, which is analytical writing test. In terms of symbiosis also they take WAT. So when we talk about all these written ability tests, vocabulary will be tested. You can't just go ahead and talk about the normal words. Vocabulary will be tested, your reading will be tested, your data will be tested. कई बार स्टूडेंट्स बोलते हैं कि सर अच्छा हुआ ग्रुप डिस्कशन चला गया. I mean अच्छा हुआ या बुरा हुआ, that's not opinion which I have to say, but the point is the process is still stringent. It's not easy as you are saying, right? Next is the one who create maps. I was talking about this. The one who create maps is called as cartographer. The one who create maps is called as cartographer, and something like this. Ideally the words should have been come after the picture. Ideally the words should have been come after the picture, but I mean I thought let's not make it very complicated. So someone who create map is known as cartographer. So I'm giving you the space so that you can click the screenshot, or if you want you can write it down. आप इसको अपने जहन में बसा लें और आप कभी नहीं भूलेंगे, राइट? So what this guy is doing, this guy is creating the maps. और मैं आगे जाके इस कार्टोग्राफर को भी डिफाइन करूंगा. इसका हम लोग संधि विच्छेद करेंगे. संस्कृत हिंदी में करते थे ना संधि विच्छेद, इंग्लिश के अंदर भी संधि विच्छेद होगा. So just hang on, just wait for some more videos to come, and definitely will enjoy these things, right? Next is a practice to have more than one marriage. Wow, sir. A practice to have more than one marriage. Here we go. अब ये किस्मत वाला है या नहीं है, ये तुम कंपैरिजन करोगे. The someone who is married and someone who is bachelor, they are the right people to give an opinion on this picture. But as of now we are talking about practice to have more than one marriage. 1 2 3 4 5. Sir, how one can handle 5 wives? I don't know, I don't have. So this is called as polygamy. This is called as polygamy because the word gammy इसका मतलब क्या होता है? बर्बादी. अरे बर्बादी नहीं, शादी. The word gammy, which means marriage, right? So poly means multiple. So multiple marriages is polygamy. So if I talk about multiple marriages, I just want to give you one more example here. Sometimes we talk about our social structures. We talk about our social structures, and when we talk about social structure, with respect to marriages, with respect to family, we talk about two more things as well. The one thing which I called about is polygyny, and then the second thing which we generally talk about is polyandry. Polygyny and polyandry. So in a society, let's say, which is a male dominant, they practice polygyny, which means a man can have multiple wives. Because I'll talk about this, इसका भी संधि विच्छेद हम बात देखेंगे. A man can have multiple wives. So this is a process of polygyny. This is the picture of polygyny. Multiple wives. Man having multiple wives. If it is other way around, a wife is having multiple marriages with man, then it is polyandry. So generally, if I talk about the social structure, the way it is from past so many years, the way it has been inherited in our cultural this thing, we basically have the practice of polygyny in many social structures, not polyandry, right? So let's continue. So this is how the words, again a one word substitution I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. A government by the religious principle. A government which is ruled by priests, the government which is ruled by popes, the government which is ruled, or a state which is ruled on the basis of religious principles. The government which is ruled on the basis of religious principles or sacred text, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं क्या? Theocracy. उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं theocracy. Why theocracy? Because the word crazy, हम इसमें आएंगे, the crazy is basically which means to govern or to rule, और theo का मतलब होता है डर, यानी कि भगवान, sorry. So the word theos basically means God. Theos basically means God. So government which is ruled by God is theocracy. The government which is ruled by theocracy, and I thought this is the best picture with which you can remember. Take the screenshot, guys. You can take the screenshot, and I always advise students to write the words down because ये हमेशा आपको याद रहेंगे जब आप notes बनाएंगे. Here we go. A person who can speak many languages. I can speak many languages. हाँ सर, मेरे से कोई भी लैंग्वेज बतवा लो, मैं बाहर दूसरी वाली लैंग्वेज भी दे सकता हूं, मैं पेरेंट्स से अच्छी तरह बात करता हूं, मैं मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड से अलग तरीके से बात करता हूं. नो, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट दोज लैंग्वेज कहां पर मैं जानू की बात कर रहा हूं, क्योंकि जैसे ही मैं ये निशान लगाना शुरू करता हूं तो लोग कुछ और समझ लेते हैं. हाँ, सो पॉलीग्लॉट इज, आई लव लैंग्वेजेस इन द सेंस, आई नो गुजराती, आई नो लेट्स से Tamil, I know Telugu, I know Hindi, I know English. So I just have an interest in learning the language. I am a polyglot. I am a polyglot. Or we also say Orientalist. We also say Orientalist, a person who have an interest in languages. Okay, to steal something which is of a very less value or unimportant. So अगर मैं कुछ स्टील कर रहा हूँ, कई बार आपने देखा होगा बच्चे एकदम स्मार्टली आपकी जेब में से पेन चुरा लेंगे, या फिर बच्चे लोग आपके मान लो टॉफी चुरा लेंगे या टॉफी ले लेंगे. उसको चुराना नहीं कहेंगे यार, उसको चुराना नहीं कहेंगे. बेचारे एक बच्चे को तुम बोल रहे हो चोर है, इसने मेरी पेंसिल चुराई, ये चोर है, इसने मेरी टॉफी चुराई. नहीं, हम उसके लिए सटल, बिकॉज दैट्स अ ब्यूटी ऑफ verbal, that's a beauty of English as a language, that we have words फॉर एवरीथिंग. अगर उसने क्राइम छोटे लेवल पे किया, अगर उसने चोरी छोटे लेवल पे की है, हम लोग बोलेंगे फिल्च. थोड़ा सा बड़ा हो जाएगा वो, उसको हम लोग बोल देंगे थेफ्ट. थोड़ा सा वो चोरी और बड़ा हो जाएगा, उसको हम बोल देंगे रॉब. सो दिस इज हाउ द इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज इज बेसिकली डिराइव्ड. सो फिल्च इज बेसिकली लाइक दिस. नाउ यू कैन सी दिस बेबी. देखिए किस तरीके से उसने उस बेचारे पेट का बेड ले लिया. That is filching. That guy is that pet is irritated. What the hell is going on? And he basically filched. अब इस बच्चे को मैं ये नहीं बोल सकता इसने उसका बेड चुरा लिया, right? So that's basically the word filching. हालांकि this is not the exact context in which filching is used, but just to make you guys understand. I hope you have liked this GIF. Okay, so these were the synonym, these were the one word substitution. We talked about theocracy, a government which is ruled on the basis of religious principle. We talked about polyglot, a person who loves languages. We talked about polygamy. We have talked about polygyny, polyandry. So these are the words which we have talked. We have talked about filching, मतलब किसी unimportant चीज को चोरी करना. So these we talked about archaeology. We talked about cartography. So these are all one word substitution which we have just discussed. Let's go to second type of question, which are synonym. Samanarthak shabd, the similar words. Let's see. Okay. The word is finicky. The word is finicky. And when I say the word finicky, generally students have said, we don't know. We don't know what do you mean by the word finicky. And when you don't know the word of the similar words of finicky, or even if you don't know the meaning of the word finicky, let's talk about this guy on the screen. Let's talk about this guy on the screen. Yes, I'm using, or very recently, he and Mrs. Khan, or ex-Mrs. Khan, Ms. Rao, is in the news. Amrita Rao, if I'm not wrong, they got divorced, or they have filed for the divorce. Okay, so finicky. So when I'm talking about this guy finicky, yes, it is used in a negative sense. हालांकि हम लोग इसको बोलते हैं Mr. Perfectionist in Bollywood, but यहाँ पर मैं उसको थोड़ा सा negative context के अंदर use कर रहा हूँ. He is finicky. Finicky in the sense he is very particular about nitty-gritties. उसको हर छोटी चीज अच्छी तरीके से होनी चाहिए, मतलब होनी ही चाहिए. Be it set, be it his body transformation, be his hairstyle. He basically work a lot on ensuring that he's giving that actual feeling of the character or a protagonist in the movie, right? That is something, the word particular. Someone who is fussy. Someone who is fussy. Or we can use the word someone who is fastidious. You can also use the word fastidious. So these are the kind of words which you can use for finicky. He's a very finicky kind of a guy, very particular about certain things. Fastidious, fussy, particular. Use these words for this, right? So that's the word finicky is all about. Let's talk about the second word, which is philanthropist. And when we talk about the word philanthropist, again, मैंने आज जो example ली है, it's all mere coincidence, right? That was not the logic behind this. So the second picture which I'm showing here, again a divorce couple, right? Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. Again, they have filed for divorce. By the way, Melinda Gates is third such lady in the world who will get more richer after filing the divorce. The first one was Jeff Bezos' wife. Second, I'm not recalling the name, and she's the third one. They've got even more richer after the divorce, right? So philanthropist, and when I'm talking about philanthropist, why this couple? Because Melinda Gates Foundation is one of the largest, and if I have to say the largest, it won't be untrue, the largest philanthropic organization in the world. When I'm talking about Melinda Gates Foundation, philanthropist क्या होता है? So they are philanthropists. These two are philanthropists because the word IST, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? A follower. The word IST का मतलब होता है a follower. The word fill का मतलब होता है प्यार, जो कि इनमें रहा नहीं. Fill is love. IST is a follower, and the word anthrope का मतलब होता है mankind. Anthrope का क्या मतलब होता है? Mankind. So love, mankind, a follower. A person who loves mankind. A person who loves mankind is known as philanthropist. A person who loves mankind is philanthropist. इसके लिए synonym और आप क्या use कर सकते हो? You can use the word magnanimous. You can use the word magnanimous. You can also use the word for philanthropist and altruist. Right? Magnanimous, altruist, philanthropist. ये सारे एक ही words हैं, ये सारे synonym हैं. And whenever philanthropist as a word comes into your mind, you should talk about Melinda Gates, you should talk about Azim Premji, you should talk about Ratan Tata, you should talk about Mother Teresa. They were all philanthropist individuals. Let's move further. I'm sure you guys must have noted this down. If I move further, here we go. The word is tumultuous. The word is tumultuous. And what this guy is doing, he is roaring. What this guy is doing, he is roaring. चिल्ला रहा है वो. He is thundering. He is roaring. He is thundering. He is kind of, when the movie is about to come, I think it's a slightly old picture. I have to use the word, I have to show you the picture of Farhan Akhtar here, a tumultuous. So Farhan Akhtar came to the ring in movie Tufan with the tumultuous sound, with the tumultuous roar, with the thundering roar, with the uproar, chilla ke, yes, we are back. That is what the tumultuous is all about, right? The word tumultuous is all about. I'm sure you guys will not forget the words. Please do give your comments in the, do give your feedback in the comment section below. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ये words आपको seriously interest कर रहे हैं, the way these words I am teaching you guys, if you are liking it, please do give your feedback. It will help me a lot. Also, whatever changes you want me to do, please do give your feedback as well in the comment section. It will help me to structure my videos better, right? Okay. Next is fiend. Next is the word fiend. Fiend का मतलब क्या होता है? मैं पहले मतलब बता देता हूं, उसके बाद पिक्चर आएगी. Fiend का मतलब होता है pretend करना. Fiend का मतलब क्या होता है? Pretend करना. Fiend का मतलब क्या होता है? Something which is untrue, something which is false, right? That is fiend. मतलब to pretend, दिखावा करना. Let's see if the word is even there. And the word is, here we go. समझ रहे हो, right? So the way she is pretending and is smiling for some guest or someone and then making the face like this is fiend, right? So this is what the word fiend is all about. I'm sure you can remember these words, right? Next on the list is hermetic. We talk about hermetic organization. We talk about hermetic teams, hermetic organization, which means very tightly bonded, very tightly knitted with each other. You can't break them. It is difficult to pass through them. The hermetic values of the organization, the hermetic culture of the family, that is the word hermetic is all about. Difficult to pass through. And this is how, yes, here we go. Hermetic, right? Difficult to pass through, right? जिसको ये flex stick बोल रहे हैं. So that is the word hermetic is all about. It is difficult to pass through. Difficult to pass. इसको तुम use कर सकते हो word impermeable. The word can be impermeable. Very difficult to pass through. Right? आप इससे pass नहीं हो सकते हैं. Right? That is impermeable. Next is reverential. When I talk about the word reverential, though I have given this image, मैं आपको एक और example देता हूँ. Reverential क्या है? Reverential का मतलब क्या है? Something which is holy, something which is sacred, something जो कि to be worshipped, right? जिसको हम पूजनीय हैं, जो उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं reverential. ये वर्ड कैसे आया है? Reverential आया मतलब इस वर्ड को और कैसे याद कर सकते हैं? इस वर्ड के अंदर एक चीज छुपी हुई है, ये rever. Can I say it's sounding like something like this? Can I say it's sounding something like this? River, right? इंडिया के अंदर मैं आपको बता रहा हूं वर्ड्स को कैसे याद करना है. इंडिया के अंदर ये टॉक अबाउट गंगा, जमुना, सरस्वती. क्या करते हैं हम इनकी? सर हम इनकी पूजा करते हैं. यस, हम इनकी पूजा करते हैं. और रिवरेंशियल का मतलब भी तो यही है, होली, सेक्रेड, टू बी वर्शिप्ड. याद रहेगा. ये कई नदियों से नहीं आए हुए हैं, बट आई एम श्योर ये वर्ड आपको हमेशा याद रहेंगे, क्योंकि मैं आपको इसी तरीके से पढ़ाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. राइट? लेट्स so these were the synonyms we talked about. So we have seen one word substitutions, we have seen synonyms. Let's move to the antonyms. Dormant. Dormant का मतलब क्या होता है? Dormant का मतलब होता है lazy. Dormant का मतलब क्या होता है? Tranquil, very lazy, ढीला ढाला, एकदम मरा पड़ा हुआ है, उसको हम बोलते हैं dormant, right? Someone who is inactive. Someone who is inactive, जैसे कि उसको किसी ने मार दिया हो. इसका अपोजिट क्या होगा? वेरी इजी सर. इसका अपोजिट होगा someone who is very active. Someone who is very active is the opposite of dormant. Someone who is very much into the talk, someone who is very energetic, someone who is very energetic, someone who is very enthusiastic, someone who is very enthusiastic. ये सारे वर्ड किसके लिए आएंगे? opposite of dormant. All these words are opposite of dormant. Okay, next on the list, let's see assiduous. Work, काम. Yes sir, अब हमें पता लग गया. Assiduous का मतलब आप बोलना चाहेंगे सर, someone who is very hardworking. Someone who is very hardworking is assiduous. Someone who is very hardworking is assiduous. And opposite of assiduous क्या होगा? Sir, opposite of assiduous dormant. Very good. Opposite of assiduous is dormant. You can also use the word lassitude. You can also use the word humdrum. ये सारे वर्ड आप यूज कर सकते हैं. ये सारे वर्ड्स आप यूज कर सकते हैं opposite of assiduous. Again ये वर्ड्स मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूं humdrum, lassitude? Because आपको assiduous का मतलब तो शायद पता होगा, बट ये जब वर्ड नीचे आए होंगे उसका मुझे नहीं मतलब पता होगा. एंड दैट्स वेयर द प्रॉब्लम इज. राइट? ओके, सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं बोल रहा हूं आई हेट टीचिंग क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड टू द स्टूडेंट्स. No, I'll not teach, don't worry. I hate teaching quantitative aptitude to the student. और मैं बोल रहा हूं I abhor teaching QA to the students. I abhor, abhor teaching quantitative aptitude to the students. अब abhor का the meaning of abhor is to hate. And if I don't know the meaning, I don't know in what context we are using it. So this is something which we need to understand, right? That is the word assiduous is all about. I hope you must have taken the screenshot. If not, take the screenshot, write it down. I always advise you guys to please write it down. जितना लिख सकते हैं उतना आपके लिए अच्छा रहेगा, right? Let's continue. Outdated. हाँ सर, जैसे कि हम ऐसा लग रहा है कोरोना के बाद outdated होते जा रहे हैं. We are kind of feeling outdated. We don't know what's happening in the world around us. Slowly and gradually we want to be in the system, but as of now we are feeling outdated. Now outdated का मतलब सबको पता है. So when we talk about these kind of headsets, or for example Nokia 3310, 3310, if I talk about these kind of typewriters, if I talk about Rayashika cameras, if I talk about cassettes, if I talk about floppy disk, these are all what outdated. एंटोनिम क्या होगा आउटडेटेड का? इसका अपोजिट क्या हो सकता है आउटडेटेड का? समथिंग विच इज फैशनेबल, समथिंग विच इज फैशनेबल, समथिंग विच इज मॉडर्न, समथिंग विच इज मॉडर्न इज समथिंग विच इज मॉडर्न इज फैशनेबल, मॉडर्न. और यू कैन यूज द वर्ड synchronous with time, right? ये सारे वर्ड क्या होंगे? ये सारे वर्ड अपोजिट होंगे of the word outdated. I hope you guys can remember these words. Quickly write this down. Don't take screenshot guys, write these words down. Okay, let's move further. Satiate. अभी ना जाओ छोड़ के कि दिल अभी satiate नहीं हुआ, सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ, कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं. राइट? ऐसे ही वर्ड याद करने पड़ेंगे. सेटिएट, अभी ना जाओ छोड़ के कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं. ये केक से दिल अभी तक भरा नहीं है इन आदमी का. तो दैट इज द वर्ड सेटिएट इज ऑल अबाउट. सेटिएट का मतलब होता है टू सेटिस्फाई, और सेटिएट का मतलब अपोजिट क्या होगा? समथिंग विच इज नॉट, आई एम नॉट सेटिस्फाइड विद, कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं is satiate. Satiate का मतलब satisfy, and the opposite is unsatisfaction. Right? Guys, this is how you have to remember the words. Right? अभी ना जाओ छोड़ के कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं. Let's continue. Sanguine. Sanguine. मैंने पहले भी इस वर्ड का यूज किया था. The tone of the author is sanguine in nature. The tone of Prashant sir is sanguine in nature. I don't know the sanguine. Here we go. Me so happy. Me so happy. This is the best phrase which I can show for this. So me so happy is sanguine. Sanguine का मतलब होता है someone who is very happy. something which is very cheerful, something which is cherry, something which is merry. ये सारे वर्ड हम लोग किसके लिए यूज करते हैं? ये सारे वर्ड्स हम यूज करते हैं sanguine के लिए. और अपोजिट क्या हो जाएगा? इसका अपोजिट कैन बी doleful. Someone which is doleful, or let's say very sad. Sad, doleful, right? ये सारे वर्ड्स क्या हो जाएंगे? ये सारे वर्ड इसके अपोजिट हो जाएंगे sanguine के. Right? I am sure you guys are linking with these words. I am sure you guys are noting this down. Okay, now let's talk about the third thing, which is verbal analogy. Let's talk about verbal analogy now. Now मैंने verbal अभी तक हमने पढ़ा one word substitutions, synonyms, antonyms, हम तीन तरीके के sets kind of questions देख चुके हैं. Let's talk about verbal knowledge, analogy. So this is one analogy which is given. This is one analogy, और जिसको मैं बोल रहा था relation. This is one analogy or one relation which is given. उसके बाद आपको एक चीज देखी गार्नेट, और अब आपको इसका मतलब बताना है या इसका रिलेशन बताना है. By the way, jade and garnet, these are types of stones जो आप हाथ में पहनते हैं ना, मोती, हीरा, पन्ना जिसको आप बोलते हैं. So jade, garnet, they are type of stones. The color of jade is green and the color of garnet is red. अब यहां पर जीके आई है या यहां पर vocab आया है, I don't know, but the point is this is an actual examination question. This is verbal analogy for you, right? Let's go to the second one. Fire and pyrophobia. So the relation of fire and pyrophobia. So the fear of fire is pyrophobia. Fear of what? Fear of what is balenophobia. Fear of what is balenophobia? Is time in the current situation, in the COVID situation, many of us going for vaccination might have balenophobia, and I am sure you must have guessed by now, fear of needles. Fear of needles or fear of pointed things. Fear of pointed things or fear of needles is known as balenophobia, right? That's where the verbal analogy will come into picture. And the question can be asked in this form also. Calligraphy is a type of writing. Calligraphy is a type of writing. And ye hoga, lyric is a type of poem. Lyric is a type of poem, right? So this is something question can be asked. Marathon race, right? So long race को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Marathon. Long race को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Long race is called as marathon. Hibernation क्या होता है? Long time of inactivity. Long time of inactivity or sleep. Long time of inactivity or sleep is hibernation. So what relation? Marathon has 2 days, and that is a similar way. Hibernation has to sleep. आपको options दिए हुए होंगे. आपको यहाँ पर, if I talk about here, you will be given the option there. Don't worry, because ऐसे तो कोई भी words आ सकते हैं. So option आपको दिए होंगे, उसमें से you have to select the best one. So this is verbal analogy for you guys. So we have seen 4 types as of now: one word substitution, synonyms, antonyms, verbal analogy. Let's go to the 5th one, which is fill in the blanks. So this is how fill in the blanks is given to you. So 4 independent dash testified. 4 independent dash testified to seeing him at the scene of the crime. Testified का मतलब क्या होता है? पहचान लेना, accept कर लेना, right? 4 independent dash testified. By the way, it was very, easy, right? To be very honest with you, considering the legalities, crime, testification. So the 4 independent witness जो वहां पर मौजूद थे, जो क्राइम के सीन पे मौजूद थे, so the 4 independent witness they testified, उन्होंने पहचान लिया यही वो कातिल है, to seeing him at the scene of crime. So that's the word fitness. Again, fill in the blanks, vocab based. Again, fill in the blanks, vocab based. She is one of the world's dash self-made billionaires. One of the words, यहाँ पर grammar और vocab दोनों काम करेगी. यहां पर ग्रामर और वोकैब दोनों काम करेगी. अब यहां पर एल्डेस्ट प्रोबेबली आई एम मिस्टेकन बिटवीन दीज टू ऑप्शंस, मैंने शायद सिमिलर ले लिए हैं. सो एल्डेस्ट और यंगेस्ट, राइट. सो यहां पर आएगा शी इज वन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड यंगेस्ट सेल्फ मेड मिलियनियर, राइट. I will dash you vocab today. I will be teaching you or I will teach you. Again grammar और vocab come into picture. So ये सारे words जो हैं ये fill in the blanks के अंदर आते हैं. So guys please take a note of it. Don't take this lightly. मेरा ये session सिर्फ इसीलिए है कि आप words को lightly ना लें. Don't take this vocabulary lightly, right? Then is odd word out. We have seen 5 kinds, I'm sure, and this is the 6th one. We are talking about odd word out here, right? Let's see. Complete destruction. आपको 4 ऑप्शन दे रखे हैं. Annihilation, obliteration, ruination and pacification. By the way, Mr. Tharoor, we all know, right? Vocabulary भर भर के आती है. उन्होंने एक वर्ड दिया था, the longest word, right? What the word he given was, flossy nosy nihilipilification. Flossy nosy nihilipilification. अब जाओ इस वर्ड का मतलब ढूंढना. हाँ, फ्लॉसी नॉसी हिलिपिलिफिकेशन, राइट. सो वहां पर मैं क्यों बता रहा हूं ये वर्ड, वहां पर भी ये वर्ड यूज हुआ है निहील. निहील का मतलब होता है डिस्ट्रॉय कर देना, खत्म कर देना. सो ये इसीलिए मैं बता रहा हूं कि आपको पता होना चाहिए. सो कंप्लीट डिस्ट्रक्शन इज एनिहिलेशन, कंप्लीट डिस्ट्रक्शन इज ऑब्लिटरेशन, कंप्लीट डिस्ट्रक्शन इज रुइनेशन. ये सारे जो हैं ये डिस्ट्रक्शन के सिनोनिम्स हैं, एक्सेप्ट वन विच इज पैसिफिकेशन. पैसिफिकेशन का मतलब क्या होता है, किसी को काम करना, किसी को पैसिफाई करना, किसी को ठंडा करना, शांत करना, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं पैसिफिकेशन. लेट्स मूव टू द सेकंड. एंजॉयिंग द कंपनी ऑफ अदर पीपल. समवन जो दूसरी की कंपनी को एंजॉय करे. एक्सट्रोवर्ट, यस सर, वी हैव रेड इट समवेयर. अ सोशलाइजर, ग्रीगेरियस, ये सारे सिनोनिम्स हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम वन विच इज रेटिसेंट. रेटिसेंट का मतलब क्या होता है, someone who is shy, someone who is introvert, someone who talks very less, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं a reticent kind of individual. Odd word out, ये actual questions लिए गए हैं. हाँ, having a pleasant sound, having a pleasant sound. Dulcet, मीठा बोलना. Dulcet is basically sweet. Dulcet is basically sweet, मीठा बोलना. A pleasant sound. Euphony, again a good sound. Euphony, again a good sound. Cacophony, cacophony is a bad sound. Cacophony is a bad sound. And choral again is a good sound. So here the antonym is, or the odd word out is cacophony. The odd word out is cacophony. A sudden attack, एकदम से अटैक. इम्प्रॉम्प्टू हम बोलते हैं ना, द डिसीजन हैज टू बी मेड, द डिसीजन हैज टू बी मेड इम्प्रॉम्प्टू, मतलब एकदम से डिसीजन लेना, अ हैस्टी डिसीजन लेना. अब सीजर, एकदम कैप्चर कर लेना. यहां पर वर्ड क्या आएगा, क्वारल. क्वारल इज नॉट नेसेसरली अ सडन अटैक. It is not necessary a sudden attack, and that's the word quarrel will come into picture. So these are all the odd word out which I am talking about. Again, we are seeing all the kind of questions, and the last on the list when I'm talking about the kind of questions which you can expect in your management exams is idioms and phrases. When we talk about idioms and phrases, I always say it is basically used, or you should know these idioms and phrases to have your communication impactful, powerful. You should use all these phrases, right? Let's talk about some of them. As strong as horse. हम कई बार हम लोग बोलते हैं, sorry for this, as strong as horse. इसका मतलब क्या होता है, something powerful. As strong as horse. Thali is as strong as horse, or Salman is as strong as horse, which means powerful. Someone like him, powerful. हमेशा इस इमेज को दिमाग में छाप लो, हमेशा याद रहनी चाहिए. As strong as horse. The next is to let the cat out of bag. बिल्ली को अपने बैग से निकाल दो. बिल्ली को अपने बैग से निकाल दो. Which means to reveal secret. To reveal secret. Let the cat out of the bag. Right? Let the cat out of the bag. So I am Ahmedabad in recent notification actually given the sequence in which the questions being asked and the number of questions which students can expect in upcoming CAT examination. They let the cat out of the bag. They let the cat out of the bag. Next is red in tooth and claw. दांत में और क्लॉ में अंदर हम लोग रेड हो जा रहे हैं, which means we are talking about a merciless competition. We are talking about a merciless competition. Red in tooth and claw. हर तरीके से खून निकल रहा है, and that is what the and this is my favorite, guys. This is my favorite. Nail your color to the mast. Nail your color to the mast, which means fight till the last. So when, let's say, before your CAT 21 examination, those who are appearing for CAT 21 or CAT 22 or any examination which you are appearing for, my suggestion to all the students who are preparing for this, that nail your color till the last. Nail your color till the mast, because fight till the last moment. Nail your color to the mast, fight till the last moment. Something like this. Something like this, right? It was fighting till the last, whatever the circumstances are. So you are nailing your color to the mast. एकदम आखिरी तक color करना, right? Once in a blue moon, we all know, कभी कभार, once in a blue moon, कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि हम लोग once in a blue moon I don't like to study, or once in a blue moon I attend video lectures by Prashant sir. So that is once in a blue moon, someone like this. Someone like this, once in a blue moon, हमारा मूड कुछ इस तरीके से होने लग जाता है. नहीं सर, ऐसा तो कभी भी नहीं होता, ऐसा मूड तो हमारा रोज होता है सर, right? Okay, continue. The best thing since sliced bread, sorry ये लगा गया, वो हम लोग कई बार यूज करते हैं. अगर आपको इनोवेशन के लिए कुछ इडियम एंड फ्रेजेस यूज करना हो, इनोवेशन के लिए आपको अगर इडियम एंड फ्रेजेस यूज करना हो, you can say the best thing since the sliced bread. ऐसा बोला जाता है in a very layman terms. हम समझाते हैं कि ब्रेकफास्ट करने के लिए इतने टंटे हैं. द बेस्ट थिंग विच हैपेंड ब्रेकफास्ट लंच डिनर के लिए आज तक की जिंदगी का बेस्ट इनोवेशन क्या है? स्लाइस्ड ब्रेड. कुछ नहीं हुआ तो बस ब्रेड खा लो और काम चलता होता. इंडिया के अंदर नहीं, इंडिया के अंदर अगर बना होता तो ये बना होता द बेस्ट थिंग सिंस पराठास, द बेस्ट थिंग सिंस इडलीज, द बेस्ट थिंग सिंस वड़ा पाव. यस, वड़ा पाव, यू कैन से दैट, द बेस्ट थिंग सिंस वड़ा पाव. सो द बेस्ट थिंग सिंस स्लाइस्ड ब्रेड. आज तक का सबसे बेस्ट थिंग स्लाइस ब्रेड के बाद कुछ है तो वो ये है. तो इसका मतलब हम किसके लिए यूज करते हैं? इनोवेशन के लिए. The word which we use for innovation, right? So this is what the 7 types we talked about, the kind of questions. We started out with one word substitution, synonyms, antonyms, fill in the blanks. We talked about verbal analogy. We talked about odd word out and all this stuff. Idioms and phrases too. How to build. आपने तो रीडिंग बोल दिया. How to build vocabulary. हम लोग इसके ऊपर बात करेंगे. रूट वर्ड टेक्निक, हम लोग इस टेक्निक के ऊपर बात करेंगे. We'll talk about many more things. और अभी अगर मैं सजेस्ट करूं तो you should have some books. I'll talk about it. तो हम लोग बात करेंगे vocabulary build-up के लिए रूट वर्ड टेक्निक में. We'll talk about linking word technique, visual vocab, volley vocab. All these sessions are there in your vocabulary module, and you can go there and just start building your vocabulary. I am sure मैंने जिस तरीके से यहाँ words पढ़ाए हैं और इसी तरीके से words आगे भी आप पढ़ते रहेंगे. Reading, obviously. Listening, guys, in the morning I always suggest, with your cup of tea or coffee or whatever you take, my suggestion to you guys, pick up your earphones और मोबाइल के अंदर just start any damn app for English news channel. Start with BBC or start with, let's say, probably World is One, or start with NDTV for that matter. Whatever you want to do that. But pick your AirPods, pick your this thing, and उसको लगाइए और सुनना शुरू कीजिए. I am telling you again, the word, it is all the word of subconscious mind. ये सारे words आपको एकदम याद होना शुरू हो जाएंगे. That is something which you need to understand. And then recommended books which I would say to start with, it is for beginners, those who are not voracious readers, those who don't read much. My suggestion to you guys is, and don't expect, in quotes, don't expect कि ये सारे क्वेश्चंस जो हैं आपको इन बुक से मिलेंगे या वर्ड्स आपको इन बुक से मिलेंगे, but it will help you in developing your vocabulary. As I am mentioning you guys, that अगले 10-12 वीडियोस के अंदर मैं आपको सिर्फ ये बताना चाहूंगा कि आप vocabulary को डेवलप कैसे कीजिए. So the first book and the most famous of all, from past so many years, I don't know, 20-30 years down the line, so all are recommending Word Power Made Easy, written by Norman Lewis. It's a red color thick book. 100-120 rupees का बुक आएगा. Take the hard copy. हालांकि सॉफ्ट कॉपी अवेलेबल है, बट हार्ड कॉपी लीजिए, पेंसिल लीजिए और स्टार्ट करिए पढ़ना. Read it like Bible, Quran, Gita, whatever religion you follow, and I am telling you will never forget the words. मैं आज तक नहीं भूलाऊंगा. I have read it like 15 years down the line, but मुझे आज तक इसके words याद है, right? The second is 6 weeks to words of power, and the third is how to build a better vocabulary. These are the 3 books I definitely recommend. Take the screenshot, note this down, pause the video for a while, and do purchase this book. It will definitely be helpful, right? So some of the questions which have been asked in the management exams, I am coming to the last part of my session. Will take next 10 minutes before we end this particular video. So stay tuned here. So when I'm talking about the actual questions in CAT examination, ये सारे kind of questions आ चुके हैं. I mean not CAT, I am talking about management exams. I am talking about management exams. ये कुछ questions आ चुके हैं. अगर आप देखेंगे first question CAT के अंदर आ चुका है. अरे अब नहीं आता तो क्या है यार, आपको कहीं पर सिलेबस मेंशन नहीं कर रखा है. नोवेयर आई एम अहमदाबाद, नोवेयर एनी आई एम मेंशन द सिलेबस कि अब हम आपको वो कैब कभी भी नहीं देंगे. आ गया तो क्या करोगे? क्या ये बोलोगे कि हमने वो कैब किया नहीं? क्या आप ये बोलोगे कि आपने चेंज कर दिया था? ऐसा नहीं बोलोगे, राइट? सो कैट के अंदर एक क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. सो राइट, फुटबॉल इवोक अ डैश रिस्पॉन्स विद ऑलमोस्ट डैश नरेशन एंड योर ऑप्शंस आर दीज 4. If we don't know the meaning of, let's say, lukewarm or a turbid or a tepid or let's say apocryphal, how will we answer the question, right? Next, synonyms of the word vicious, cordial, placid, blight. NMET के अंदर आ चुका है. This is IFT question. Prevaricate. अब ये prevaricate का पूरा definition दे रहे हैं. I mean prevaricate का context usage दे रहे हैं IFT के अंदर, और उसके बाद आपसे पूछा जा रहा है इसका मतलब क्या होगा. Pause the video for a while, search this out, सोचिए, समझिए, find कीजिए. You will find the answers in the link also, or after in my YouTube link also. अगर आप YouTube channel पे जाएंगे, or you can search for yourself also. So these are the actual questions which I have asked in the management examination, which you need to solve, right? Some more questions here. Again an IFT question. High prices are often the dash of goods. So here it is basically high prices are the concomitant of scarcity of goods. What do you mean by the word concomitant? I don't know. Probably contextual usage से जाऊंगा. Concomitant का मतलब होता है complement. They go with the scarcity of the goods. The moment scarcity starts, the concomitant will start settling in. Rent is to lease. Verbal analogy. हम लोग लीज पे रेंट लेते हैं. हम लोग किसी चीज को लीज पे देते हैं तो रेंट देते हैं. इन चारों में से क्या आएगा? Again a verbal analogy questions. So guys, vocabulary is important. मेरा आज का जो पूरा वीडियो है, whatever 1 hour I talked about, the idea was just to let you know vocabulary is of utmost important. Don't take it lightly. Now let's take one sample on reading comprehension, and this is what the small paragraph is all about. Take exactly 4 minutes, pause the video for a while, take 4 minutes, and जो words मैंने येलो पे अंदर मार्क कर रखे हैं, इन words को अच्छी तरीके से पढ़ो, और उसके बाद मैं आपको इसके आंसर बताऊंगा. Just try to understand the contextual usage. Don't go to the dictionary and search for the meaning. And your time starts now. I'm sure you must have read it by now. आपने अभी तक पढ़ लिया होगा क्या ये पैसेज बोलना चाह रहा है. Let's start. One visit to the, so it's just an example. Just to give you an idea how vocabulary works in reading comprehension. मेरे लिए कितना easy या hard है reading comprehension करना अगर मैं vocabulary के ऊपर अपनी dependency नहीं कर रहा हूं तो, right? One visit to the remote town of Marlborough. Marlborough is a town, nothing else. Okay, near the Salisbury Plains in England will transfer you to a different world. The moment you visit Marlborough, it will transfer you into the different world altogether. What is that world? Okay. Life languished in the town. Life languished in the town. क्या हो चुकी है life? सोचो. As if someone had drained all the vitality. So now, again contextual vocab. यहाँ पर हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं टाउन कुछ इस तरीके से हो चुका है कि as if किसी ने पूरी vitality को drain कर दिया है. Vitality का मतलब क्या होता है? Vitality का मतलब क्या होता है? Lively. राइट, वाइटल बोलते हैं लिविंग, राइट. वाइटलिटी का मतलब लिविंग. पूरी लाइफ को, इसको पूरी लाइफ को क्या कर दिया है? ड्रेन कर दिया है, खत्म कर दिया है. ड्रेन कर दिया है, खत्म कर दिया है. सो लाइफ लैंग्वेज इन द टाउन. लाइफ एकदम खत्म हो गई इन द टाउन, एज इफ समवन हैड ड्रेन ऑल द वाइटलिटी. Yet nobody jeopardized their vitality. Yet nobody jeopardized their vitality. उन्होंने अपनी vitality खतरे के अंदर नहीं किया. No one jeopardized their vitality. Jeopardize मतलब खतरे में डालना. The sleeping town is beset with unknown fatigue. ये जो सोया हुआ जहां से लाइफ जा चुकी है, लैंग्वेज हो चुकी है, is beset, उसपे है क्या? Unknown fatigue, थकावट सी है, unknown fatigue सा है, right? That seemed to have ravaged all life finer things, जिसने की लाइफ की सारी अच्छी चीजों को रैवेश कर दिया है, तहस नहस कर दिया है. On our way to the mythical Stonehenge, हमारा वे, when we are talking about that mythical Stonehenge, this village kind of devastated Gavin's pride. इस विलेज ने गैविन जो यहां पर गया था विजिट करने के लिए, उसकी स्पिरिट होना चाहिए शायद, उसकी स्पिरिट को डिवेस्टेड, डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया. दो हवा एंड आई एंजॉयड द प्रोस्पेक्ट, हवा एंड आई वाज एंजॉयिंग द प्रोस्पेक्ट ऑफ एनकाउंटरिंग सम मेडिवल घोस्ट. हम लोग वो सोच रहे थे कोई मेडिवल घोस्ट, कोई पुराना भूत हमें दिख जाए, बट गैविन की स्पिरिट अच्छी नहीं थी. I tried commiserating Gavin. मैं Gavin को commiserate करना चाह रहा था, समझाना चाह रहा था, उसके साथ बोलना चाह रहा था, saying that another 5 minutes हवा to finish your photography would not do any harm. कि यार 5 मिनट और रुक जाएगा तो क्या दिक्कत है. Gavin was unmoved, sad. और Gavin was बिल्कुल unmoved. और वो क्या बोल रहा है? Look at this place. इस जगह को तो देखो. It seems raised by vampires. Vampires ने इसको खत्म कर दिया है. It look like the town from the movie Underworld. It's airy. हवा on the other hand was dedicated photographer. और दूसरी जगह हवा जो थी, she was a dedicated photographer. But for once it was our time to really feel airy. और अब वो टाइम आ चुका था. इस चीज, एरी का मतलब होता है एकदम खतरनाक सी जगह, अजीब सी जगह. अब हमारा टाइम आ गया था उस खतरनाक जगह चीज को फील करने का. टर्निंग अराउंड अ कॉर्नर वी वर स्टल्टिफाइड. हम लोग हैरान हो गए, घबरा गए. टू फाइंड अ रो ऑफ हाउसेस कट इन हाफ फ्रॉम द टॉप. हाउसेस को ऊपर से, टॉप से काट रखा था. इट सीम्ड दैट दे वर स्लाइस्ड सर्जिकली इन हाफ by some giant light saber. बड़ी तलवार, giant saber से उसको काट दिया था, like the one in the Star Wars. We moved away from there towards the Stonehenge site, wondering what power could have precipitated such destruction. ऐसी तो कौन सी पावर होगी जिसने ऐसे कुछ डिस्ट्रक्शन को अंजाम दिया. All these words negative. All these words negative. Reze, ये वो, ये सारे negative words हैं. Let's see what are those words. These are those words. These are the correct meaning of these words. Language become feeble. Feeble का basically मतलब क्या होता है? Weak हो जाना. Dormant मैंने आपको बताया था. देखो थोड़ी देर पहले यहाँ से वर्ड आते हैं. Jeopardize, खतरे में आ जाना. To put yourself into a risky spot. Beset, the town is beset, surrounded by. Commiserate, you are expressing the compassion. Raise, destroy. Widespread annihilation हमने पढ़ा था. Obliteration हमने पढ़ा था अभी. Right? So all these are the words. तो अगर हमें ऑबिलिट्रेशन नहीं पता, अगर हमारे को डेविस्टेशन नहीं पता, अगर हमारे को एनिहिलेशन नहीं पता, अगर हमारे को डॉर्मेंट नहीं पता, तो रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन कैसे सॉल्व होगा? दैट्स द एग्जांपल माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स आई वांट टू गिव हियर बाय एंडिंग दिस video on the note that vocabulary is very very important. So don't take this lightly. This is of utmost important. In my videos to come, as I said, I'll be covering 700 to 800 words. I will try to ensure that you remember all those words the way I will be teaching. So that's it from my side in introduction to vocabulary. Thank you and keep listening to eCoaching. Have a wonderful day.